We are back with season 2, episode 1, Max Zakheim, known as Yehuda Meir. It's been a while. It's been a year. Maybe some people thought you would have been one of the first people on the podcast, but we had to save you. So we're here now, year 4, season 2, episode 1. Here we go. Maxwell, it all started off, I think I first found out about you when I was in high school. I think I was in 11th grade. We were playing against you. For those who don't know, TABC and Frisch are two rivalry schools. I went to TABC, Max went to Frisch. I got to talk to you. And you went to Frisch, but people don't know that. And it's in two rival schools in Yeshiva League. And the next time I really met you was when we played in the 3-on-3 tournament in the summer. When I finished 12th grade, I think you finished your year in your prep school. In that 3-on-3 tournament.
Right.
And
yeah. I was at Frisch.
I was at Frisch.
Yeah.
So that was the first time I really met you. Maybe you could give me a little introduction about maybe when you heard about me.
Yeah, I mean, similar type thing. I would say, like, I probably heard Zevi Samet a couple of times, but the first real time, I really heard about Zevi Samet, same type of thing. It was my senior year. I'm a grade above Zev. And yeah, I mean, we heard about this kid, on TABC, dominating. And like, this is Zev kind of like, as probably you've heard, talk about, like, he gradually kind of like freshman, sophomore year, like just kind of another guy on the team. And then he kind of, as you guys know, put it in an absurd amount of work and kind of got to the player that he is today. But kind of when he got to that junior, senior year is really when he started to become a really, really, really good player. And yeah, so we heard about him, same thing. Early in the season, this kid dropping 30 points a game for TABC, and we're like, God damn it, like TABC's got another one. Like, I know they had a couple good kids my grade that we kind of been battling it out, through middle school and through high school. And then senior year, they had Zev, and that's kind of the first time I heard of him. And they did beat us in the semifinals, but it happens to be I didn't want to bring it up. There was no playoffs. There was no championship anyway, so no one won. So I guess 3
co-championships.
Yeah. So I guess technically, you guys made it a stage farther than us, but none of us are champions at the end of the day. So
that's true. I hear. I think the first time I really met you was in person. Other than that, in YU was when I got to the gym. First time I saw you here, I'm like, this guy's so scary. I think everyone on the team could agree. And a lot of people that watch the games, you're like the scariest guy. But up until like we really started hanging out and playing and chilling, I realized that you're the nicest guy, most caring guy. So it took a while, but at first sight, you were a pretty scary looking guy.
Yeah, I mean, I get that sometimes. I would say to some I guess strangers or people that I'm not so close with, I could be a little bit, not so talkative and cold or a little bit.
It's okay.
But
you're
once,
an intense guy.
Yeah, but once we kind of get. Once we get, kicking off, then I could be a little bit of a clown too. So
yeah, yep. And then before we go into your life, I think like on top of that, it's like from that moment, seeing like how serious you were and how much you cared about basketball and life, and like up until now, like I can probably say like you're one of my closest friends. I probably speak to you most out of anybody else on my contact list, other than like my parents. And
yeah, no, 100%, same exact thing to me. I mean, and yeah, as we talk about, you probably talked about with other people on the podcast, like. Big thing here at YU and with the basketball team is like we all really care for each other. We all have really close relationships. It doesn't matter, your religious levels. Doesn't matter, your other interests outside. But we have a really strong bond with obviously really me and Zevi, but even me and the other guys that came in the same year as us that I'm sure we'll get to in a little bit.
Yes, sir. All right, so we'll start off. I think you're one of the most motivated guys I know. Work ethic. Maybe you could talk about a day in the life of Max Zakheim. I would say. Maybe give us a day in the life when you're healthy, but I think when you're hurt, there's no difference. But I think that the reason why I want to know both healthy and hurt is because I think a lot of people, when things aren't going well for them, sometimes they're like, oh, this is my time to take off. This is my time to have a break. But I think that you show a lot of, not only when you're healthy, you got to be motivated, but when you're hurt, do the best you can. Maybe walk us through that a little bit.
Yeah, so obviously, it depends on time of years, summer and season. But let's say we can go, kind of a summer type day on one of my summers here as a college athlete. But yeah, I mean, so usually I'm waking up, between anywhere between 5:30 and 6:30.
And like really 5 o'clock.
Nah, I would say usually 5:30, 6:30, and like to get in a basketball workout in at that time. And then I'll get back home, eat some breakfast, and then we'll always me and Zev have the past couple of years. But even before that, we go get in a lift. After that, I'll be doing some other things, that'll kind of usually take place around 8, 9 o'clock around then until about 10, 11 o'clock. And then, excuse me. And then, I have some time to, chill and kind of the past couple summers been working a little bit, doing some stuff, as we'll kind of get to with my future and career goals. But yes, I'll be working, a chunk of the day, obviously eating lunch and in there and doing some recovery. And then, depending on the day, I would definitely get back in for another hard basketball workout, around 3, 4, 5 o'clock. Sometimes pickup runs, all that type of stuff. So really what I try to do is, and we'll kind of get to it a little bit later, but three good workouts a day, especially in the off season. Just because, some people do one, they think they're having a great day. Some people that do two, are like, oh, I'm having a great day. But I like to do 3 because not many people are doing 3. And if someone's doing 4, they're probably not doing great workouts. So yeah, I think 3 is the great number.
I think that's your model always have been. Like, you always tell the team that we're going to always do something that no one else is doing. Like, you would always say, like, our team Shachars, our team Shabbatones, no one in the country is doing it. No team in the country has practice before 6 a.m. And yet, like, you always just emphasize, like, no one else is doing it. We got to do it, and this is what we're doing. This is what makes us special. And I think that's huge. Like, everybody is trying to get greatness, but some people are like, well, no one else is doing this, so I'm going to up it one more notch. And it's really, really special.
Yep.
But what about the grind? I mean, obviously the results is what keeps us going. Like, what about the grind that you love, that, like, you want to do this every single day for hours a day? You could be doing other things.
Yep. What I tell, other people on our team or anyone, like, it might sound cliche, but you have to love the grind. Like, results are results, and a lot of times you can't control them. A lot of times you can't control if the shot's going to go in the game or, take it, whatever it is. But, if you love what you do every day, then, results will come. And again, you're loving it. Like I was telling Coach a week ago about, because right now I've been, working on getting fully healthy, been feeling much better, but working on getting fully healthy. And he was trying to, have me sit out a little bit in practice towards the end. And I was saying like I really don't want to, because I enjoy, our practice or our workouts pretty much the same, if not a little bit less than, when we're out there with the lights on game day. So, if you, again, I don't know if you can learn to it, but if you really love basketball and you love getting in the gym, you love being with your guys, you love, just the game, then, those workouts don't become like, oh, I got to wake up at 6 o'clock. It's like I go to sleep being like, all right, I'm hyped, dude. Like I wake up at 5:30 a.m., like jump out of my bed and run down there to get stretched and ready to go.
For sure. I think it's like the famous phrase, like, it's not I have to, but I get to.
Mm-hmm.
But I think like that's one of the coolest part about Judaism. Like, one of my favorite things I've always shared with many people is we say, anu amel v'hem amelim, right? We toil, I toil, and the goyim toil. Anu amelim u'makabel schar, we toil, ani amal makabel schar, I toil and I get reward. V'hem amelim enu makabel schar, and the goyim toil and don't get reward. Chavetz Chaim asks, that's what kind of question is that? Look at the billionaires, look at the celebrities. They toiled and look what they are. So how can you say only we toil and get reward, and the goyim toil and don't? There's so many successful businessmen or goyish people in the world. And one of the famous things is that he answers, he says, no, what we get is we toil and get reward every step of the way. LeBron James is only LeBron James because he made the NBA. These players and celebrities are only what they are at the end of it, but we get rewarded every step of the way. It's the same thing with workouts. If you don't love the grind and it's only about the results, you're going to end up hating it.
Right.
The reason why a lot of people appreciate Judaism is because it's not about the results. If it was about the results, I probably would have gave up a long time ago. But it's always about just one more push. I think like another thing, which is you're really talented in about, is taking your basketball knowledge and expanding it. You were a coach of a high school team last year, the varsity assistant coach. You've done many hoop groups. You're always just using your basketball knowledge. You're one of the captains on our team. What made you just want to just expand like all your basketball knowledge and just give over to so many other people?
Yeah. I mean, I think a big thing is like, I love the game. I love, everything about it, whether it's getting in the gym, working out, whether it's, training some kid, whether it's, talking about it, watching it, breaking down film, all that stuff. So, yeah, I mean, I just love coaching. I love, as I said, everything about the game. So, this past year, I've been lucky to gain some experience coaching at Ramaz, doing that again this year. And this summer, I worked, as you said, with the hoop group. It's a AU circuit to kind of learn that part of the business and that part of the recruitment process and stuff like that. So as we'll probably get into, I'm hoping to become a college coach and kind of get into that once my playing career is over. So just as you would for any industry, if you're going into finance, you're going to do those internships to kind of study under those type of guys. I try to do the same thing here for coaching, and with our guys on the team, me and you both, we're someone that's been here for a while, played at high levels basketball, and kind of just take it. We approach the game like it's our job, So guys look up to that and respect that. So just try to help guys, not even so much X's and O's based, because I'm not perfect on that, but I try to help guys in the mentality and the trying to give them some knowledge on what it takes to be a college basketball player and what it takes to be able to win championships. Like it's
For sure.
like I feel like here it's been a little bit taken for granted because of all the talent and all that that's come through the past eight or so years. But it's really hard to win at the college level. Like winning one game at the college level is really hard. You think about it, like all these college basketball players were the best player on their high school team. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of high school basketball players, and all kind of gets meshed into a funnel to college basketball. So I think there's a stat like 3% of all high school athletes play college basketball. Wow. So if you're in a room with 100 people, 3 of them are playing college. So It's just like it's hard to win at that level. So we got to approach it every day the right way in order to do so.
For sure. Were you always a leader, either amongst your friends, teammates, and is it something like you wanted to do? Is it like, were you a person like either who were or always wanted to? Because like you have the role in the hoop group, you have a role in the high school team, you have the role of captain here. It seems like even in high school you were a little bit like, were you like that your whole life? Were you always like the?
Yeah, I would actually say not really. Like I would still say I'm not great at speaking in front of people. I've worked on it a lot tremendously, and I think I'm improving at it. But I would say when I was younger, like no, not really. I would be more the type of guy, which is everyone says they're that type of guy, like lead by example. So yeah, I mean, I'd always be that guy that trying to work hard and try to set a good example, and kind of being as one of the better players, on my high school teams and middle school and all that. Like you kind of naturally push that way. But I would say only until college and really like my couple of years before I came to YU at my prep school and at Bryant, really taught me a lot and kind of taught me to use my voice and be able to lead. And I think I'm working on it, but I think I've definitely improved.
Okay, awesome. So now we're gonna go into a few lessons that I think specifically you've taught me in my life and things that I've learned. I don't know if you really recognize these things, but it stood out to me. I think one of them, you're the most thoughtful and like caring person. I know for me, it's like I stayed at your house this whole summer for training. Like I live in Muncie, and it didn't make so much sense to go back and forth. And like you were literally in South Africa with your family, and you just let me like crash. And I think it's like hard for a lot of people. Like I don't know if I would be able to do that. Just one of my friends just like, hey, I need a place to sleep, and no one in the family's home. Just be like, yeah, here's my code. Go make food. Go sleep. Do whatever you want. Where did that come from? It's just something like I always want to give because it's against our nature to really do that. Our nature is to be a little bit self-centered and, be, I guess, closed up a little bit. Where did it come from that you're just like, I just would love helping other people and giving?
Yeah, I think it really comes from my dad. I mean, my dad's always, telling me that, obviously we're so blessed, all the things we have in life. And he's always, trying to give to people, not even, not necessarily people that are, of less fortunate, but just his friends and everything. Like it's just naturally kind of something I think it's been like instilled in me, and like I love helping guys out, and it's not even like it's just like not even like second thought to me. Like you need a place to stay, you want to get work in, you want to it was just more convenient for you, whatever it is, 100%. You stay in my house, like it doesn't affect me at all, like So it just I think it's something that's kind of just naturally kind of ingrained in me, where it's just always I'm just trying to be a good guy and help guys out, whenever they need.
For sure. Beautiful. I think the second thing is, I think you're a person that like never gets jealous. I could be wrong, but that's what I think. I think that I just know that because throughout the 3 years we've been here, like, yeah, obviously you want your own success, and whether it's basketball or whatever it is, I feel like you're always looking out for the benefit of other people's successes. I know for me, like basketball wise, like you would always just say, like, Zevi, I want to make sure you get your numbers. I want to make sure that you play well. I want to make sure that you do this. And like, yeah, obviously I felt the same way towards everyone else. Like I also want certain guys on the team to get their buckets and to
Mhm.
score and help the team win. But like I feel like you're something I've been working on for years to try to like understand, if I were to speak to high school kids or anybody in general, how to stay in your own lane and focus on yourself. I
Right.
think it's really hard. How can this person who wants to do so much, and like how does he stay in his own lane? Because our world is there's so many people out there. I even know in davening, a lot of times I'll be looking around because we're programmed to look at other people. And something I've been working on for a lot of years is staying in my own lane and focusing on myself. I just know like a small thing that we say "V'tari lebeinu l'avdecha b'emes" on Shabbos. It says we're asking God to help us purify our heart to serve Him in truth. My rabbi told me we're asking God to serve Him not because people are walking and looking over our shoulders, because it's between me and God. But I think like on the basketball court, like you're very much in staying in your own lane. Like a person has success, you're happy for the kid, and you're focusing on yourself. Whatever situations happen to you, you're like, I'm okay with where I'm at in life. Obviously, I'm gonna always get better in whatever it is. But like, it doesn't seem like you're a jealous kid at all.
Yeah, I think that's kind of like a little twofold, that question. Like the first part about jealousy, um, yeah, I mean, when it comes to basketball, I guess kind of being a little bit of a point guard, but also just like, especially at YU, it's made it so easy not to be jealous. Like, again, as we talked about before, like, we're all such good friends. We all really all want to accomplish the goal of winning. Like, yeah, someone might take a shot here or there, which, probably wasn't the best one, but it's not because they are a selfish player. It's because basketball happens. Stuff gets frantic, and we've all been there. We all play basketball at the high level. So, I think it's made it really easy, and just because I think a big thing is our bond, off the court, and so like I genuinely care about guys getting their stuff. Like I know like Roy, for example. Roy wants to go play professionally in Israel after he's done. Like, go. I would love Roy to do that. Roy's an awesome basketball player, and he works and he puts in the time. Like, I want to try to help Roy as best as possible, and I'll be so happy when he signs that contract. You know what I'm saying? So I think, on the basketball side of things, like, we have a great bond, and it's been so much fun, these last 3 years, and we got one more, and then kind of the second part about like, I guess, kind of staying in your lane and kind of putting your head down and doing your stuff is just something that, again, also I just always done. Like, I know it's hard and it might be like for some people, but I just kind of like to do my own thing, do my own schedule, do my own workouts and all that stuff. And, and then the day, people are going to like to hate. So you do your thing and block that stuff out and you'll be able to achieve, what you want. So that's kind
100%.
of how I always think about it. It's like that.
Whoever's listening, something to look up to. I think another point is like your respect and flexibility to another person is like tremendous. Like I know for me, like I slept at your house this summer, and yeah, we might have different, views on Judaism and practice it differently. Obviously, we have the same view. We understand that we're God's children, but like we might have different, I guess, ways how we go about things. And I come to your house, and you're just like, all right, Zevi, let's work out in the morning. What time do you have to daven shachris? And like, I say I got to go to Marv, and I'm like, you're like, and you're never like, what's the word? You're always like, I want to accommodate with you. I even know like a few weeks ago, I texted you. I was like, there was a problem between mincha and basketball, and it was only that time throughout the day. And I texted you. I'm like, I'm like, Max, like, listen, you're probably gonna kill me because you want me to work out right now, but I can only work out over daven mincha, and I decided to go daven mincha. And I told you, I was like, don't kill me. And you're like, the first thing you said to me was like, no, like I respect that. And I thought like maybe you wouldn't, but it's just always like anything we're doing, any workouts or anywhere we're going, you're always just like, oh, you got to do what you got to do. I'll fully respect that, and like we'll accommodate around that. Like to be able to accommodate someone's schedule like is not easy. Like you want to work out at 6:30, but now you'll push it off an hour, even 2 hours. So I'm able to do that. Like where does that come from?
Yeah, I think it also, comes from, you're someone that's incredibly motivated, incredibly busy, always, maneuvering things to try to get everything in their schedule. Like I'm someone that's the same way. So I totally, understand that, for you, whether it's, Shachar and Mincha and Ma'ariv and, you're learning and all that. Like, I have other things, that I try to fit into my day. So I totally understand, where you're coming from when you have those things. And I want to, you can always work it out. Like, as I like to talk to people, about on our team, it's like, you make time for the things that you really want to do. So like, obviously, yeah, if you want to do a million things, you won't be able to fit it in. But, you have your core things, what you want to do, and you can always make time for it. So like, you know, you have your basketball, we have our school, we have, you know, when guys say, oh, like I couldn't get in a workout in today, it's like, no, you could have. It's just you might have to move this, move that, you know, just move around your schedule a little bit and get to that workout. So I think it's really about, you know, just kind of respecting, you know, people's schedules and all that, and knowing that I'm also some guy that's, you know, constantly moving from thing to thing. And kind of lastly, it's like, you know, also with someone you like, you know, I know you're not trying to cut corners, so it's, you know, you're just trying to work everything out and get in your work. And so I'm happy to move around things and you figure it out. And a lot, and also love working out with you. So we try to figure it out.
Appreciate it. Yes, sir. The midos that you have is like something I admire, and like a lot of people should. It's like the Torah says, "Derech eretz kadma LaTorah." That derech eretz, you know, like the proper way to treat people, you know, and respect for other people comes before the Torah. You can't learn the Torah if you're a terrible person. And I think like for you, maybe you don't learn as much as maybe I do. I don't even know who gets more reward or not. It's not about who learns more. It's about just serving God in each and our own way. But it's like the midos you have, like I think one of the biggest things also is like you never complain. Like I think the first time I've heard you complain since I've met you was this week. We were in practice and your foot was hurting you and you're just like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this and my foot keeps hurting me like this. And I was like, what just happened? You know, like I know it's like the emunah bitachon, like whether it's for Hashem, and I believe it is, but like everything's okay. You know, the many times that you've hurt yourself, you're just like, yeah, like everything's gonna be okay. And like for me, I get hurt and I'm just like, what's gonna be? I don't know when I'm gonna get back. And you're just like, you're relaxed. Like there's nothing you could do to control it other than just believe it's gonna come back, and you have to trust the process. And I think like you're just always like, it's gonna be okay. And whatever happens after a game, like, yeah, you'll be upset that we lost, but you're like, all right, now we bounce back and move on. And like sometimes like we'll lose and I'll like keep my head down for like another day, and you'll be like, why are you doing that? The game's over. We move on to the next. And I think it's just like a lot. Like last year, I know specifically we had a game. There was 7 games where I averaged 9 points, and I came to you, and I'm just like, yo, like I don't know what happened to me. I put so much work in the whole summer, and it's not paying off, and I can't shoot, can't do anything. I'm getting blocked, and I'm just like, I don't get it. And you're like, yo, your percentages add up, and at the end of the season, everything's gonna be happening the way it's supposed to. And I'm just like, oh, maybe that makes sense. And like you just always lifted me up, always like encouraged me. It was like, oh, everything's gonna be okay. And at the end of the season, that's exactly what happened. And obviously Hashem played a big role in helping us, but that encouragement, those comments are what ended up helping me get through the season to help me help the team contribute to help win the championships. But I think like, where does it come from that it's just like, I don't need to complain and everything's meant to be and everything happens for a reason and everything's gonna be okay. It's a very, very hard thing to just be positive at all times.
Yeah, I mean, I think it comes naturally from like my personality. Like I'm more like especially like, you know, off the court, just very, you know, calm and just kind of, you know, relaxed and just always, you know, keep myself a little bit. But I think that, you know, like big thing, you know, whether it's real life or basketball, like I just trust, you know, you put in the work, you put in the time, and you know that's what you can control, and you know you can't control the other part of it. You know, you can't control if that ball is going to go in that game. You can control you know your 10 days before, you're not 10 days. You control your 6 months before that. You put in your 500 shots and you did your extra workouts and you did all that stuff. You could control that, but you know you can't control a lot. So like I try not to get caught up in that stuff. You know, like I was coming back. We had a family vacation this summer, and our flight was canceled. And you know, people in my family were getting all stressed and all anxious, and you know, I'm there just joking around the whole time. And these guys, you know, my dad and my brothers are like, come on, like this is serious, like whatever. And I was like, you know, you just can't control this. Like we'll figure it out. We'll find a way. We'll get there. You know, might be easy for me to say because you know I'm not the one I guess paying it, but. I just, in everything, I just, you know, you put in the time, you know, you get hurt, you take your rehab seriously. That's not, you know, doing it once a week or going in there and you know, not pushing yourself to the limits, but you take your rehab seriously and you know, you do other things. I know a question before I didn't even get to answer. It was kind of like schedule when you're hurt. Like there's always things you can do, you know, whether you hurt your foot, you know, you can do push-ups, you know, you can hit the bike if you, there's always things you can do. So same thing, you know, with rehab, and so you take your rehab seriously, and again, the rest is out of your control. So I just try not to get caught up in those stuff, and I know it sounds, you know, easy to just say that, but that's kind of you know how I try to live my life.
It's awesome. I know like when I was much younger, probably in like middle school, early high school. I used to get like upset when things happen like a lot. And I remember the one thing that like changed my life was I stubbed my toe. I said like, I could scream in pain right now, but there is nothing I can do to change it other than it hurts. So I said,
Yeah.
you know what? This moment, when things that go wrong in my life, I'm just gonna be like, okay, I couldn't control it. And
Right.
you know, Hashem also says a lot, like the Torah says that when something bad happens to you, use it as a kapara. So like, I'll stub my toe and I'll be like, okay, instead of getting punished in the next world for all my sins that I do, this is a kapara and atonement for some of my sins that I might have done, because God pays us back also in this world and he punishes us also in this world. Everything is part of the bigger plan. But I think to live it day in and day out of like literally everything's okay in tough situations. Like it's very easy to say, right, to somebody like, oh, have a moon and bitachon that everything's gonna be okay. And then let's see what happens when he's in that situation. Like, how do you do it? And I think you do a really good job at that. I think another huge thing is you're really responsible. You're the first guy at practice. You're not like on time guy. You're an early guy. You're prepared. You're always there early. Like practice, you're there before. Davening, you're there before every day. Whenever you go anywhere, you're always there before. You're not like just a guy who just comes on time or comes late. And I think like that's a huge thing in basketball and life and work and anything that you're going to do. And it's like, where did you get that, you know, I guess that part of just like, I want to be early and prepared?
I think I heard a quote that is the most successful people are the most organized. It's like, you know, it doesn't take, you know, the big brains and all that to, you know, be organized and you know, take your schedule seriously. And I think that's something that I try to live by, you know, just being at things on time. Being on time is not being there the second it starts. It's being there 10, 15 minutes early, being able to get, for basketball, it's more than that because you got to get your stretching in. You got to get a lot of different things in before practice. And, you know, also I just like to, you know, pride myself on, you know, just being that type of guy that's, you know, always there, always working, always, you know, there beforehand. And I think it just sets a good example for guys to, you know, to be there. So I try to do that. And for some people, it might be really hard to get up in the mornings, for example, for our schedule. For me, as I talked about before, I just kind of pop out and I was talking with somebody and it was like, what time? I was talking about my schedule. And I was like, yeah, I want to be at the court at whatever, 6 a.m. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to wake up at 5, be at my house at 5:08. It's like, take 8 hours. Yeah, like I barely brush my teeth. I kind of just run out of bed, put on my shoes and run to my car and get there for practice. So that's kind of, I would say, how it goes.
Beautiful. I think I remember my grandmother once, this is years ago in high school, when she used to like drive me to trainers. I came in the car once and I was a few minutes late and she sat me down. She's like, Zevi, let me teach you a piece of advice. I don't remember the exact words, but she's like, it's better to be 5 minutes early than make a person wait, always. And she just always taught me to leave extra room and always just, get there early.
Yeah. It's just like it naturally bothers me, like for myself, you know, like if it's like, for anything, you know, if it's, it bothers me. Like if I'm going to be like, you know, I'm running from a workout to an appointment and it's like my Waze says, you know, I'm going to be there at 5:32 and its appointment starts at 5:30. It's just like, I naturally just try to zoom because like I have to get there at 5:29. Like it naturally just annoys me, you know, if I don't. So
I just actually saw a very funny bumper sticker. Somebody said, you can pass me because I left on time. Like he's on time, like he's on the right lane, so you go to his left because he left on time. You're in a rush, obviously. All right, now we'll get a little bit more chill, like just basketball and questions, rapid fire a little bit.
Nice.
All right, here we go. Number
Back
one.
a little bit.
What size shoe do you wear?
I wear a 10/10.5. I honestly feel like I used to be a 10.5, but now I feel like I'm a 10. So I don't know. I guess it depends on the shoe.
Right. What's your favorite shoe to wear?
My favorite shoe to wear, I would say it's my first like 2 years I wore these Jordan, the Luka the Luka ones. I really like those a lot. Now I wear Kobe's and I kind of got on that train. But I would stick to, you know, a little less bougie with the Jordan, with the Luka ones.
Hey, you're gonna like this question. If you were a tennis player and you're able to represent any brand, which one are you going for?
It's actually a great question. And it's funny. I went to the U.S. Open, and one of my friends literally asking that question. I think honestly, I would just go with Nike. Like I know it's kind of I'll go with Nike or like I guess I like Aloe. I like Aloe, so maybe Aloe would be pretty cool. Yeah.
I thought you maybe would have said On Cloud, Ben Shelton.
Yeah, no, I'm saying I'll be a little out of the box. I've seen On Cloud, I've seen Lululemon. I haven't really seen
Think
Aloe,
Aloe.
so Aloe.
Is there a player that is Aloe?
I don't, not that I know of. Again, I don't know all tennis players, but I would go Aloe or Nike. Those two.
Future job. U.S.
Future
Open
job?
tennis. I said that's what's gonna be.
Yeah.
We'll get there. What is the reason behind all the different hairstyles from year one all the way till now?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, from year one, my hair was a little bit shorter, and then since now, it's just kind of been the same. I guess no, a little bit longer earlier on, but then it got a little too crazy. I see some pictures from then, and it's just like you look homeless. But now I think it's a good length. It's not too long. I actually need to get a haircut, so right now it might be a little bit long. But yeah, it's honestly, other guys on the team, do more crazy hairstyle. I wouldn't say mine's crazy.
You have your go-to guy?
Yeah. And honestly, I get pretty tight when he gets booked up, and I have to figure it out. It's a whole thing, and he only doesn't work on Mondays and Tuesdays. It's just it gets all crazy sometimes.
I guess the question everyone wants to know is where did the name Red Rocket come from?
I guess Max Live. I don't
You
really
started
know.
calling it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it must be Max Live, maybe Poppers or that crew that does a great job. But I think it, or maybe actually it might have been the announce crew with like Charlie Benheim and who else was there. Our first year. Them or Max Live. I'll give them the credit.
You like it?
I'll
take it.
Nicknames are a good thing. That means people are noticing.
I hear.
What's no nicknames for guys that don't play. So
what's like a pregame routine look like, or game day?
Yeah, honestly, like here at YU, like I like to get in some shots early on the game day, and then we have our team shoot around, and then before the game, I like to be there. Like I like to say like, oh, I'll be there 2 hours early, but then I always, as I was talking about, like I'm there like 2 hours 45 early, like way too early, and I'm like, stretching, and I'm like, there's still 2 hours to the game. Yeah. So then I try to, get some touch shots in, some handles, and then kind of I'll chill for a little bit, and then kind of get ready to go once we get our team workout in, stretching and all that stuff. But nothing too complex. Like I'm not even really listening to music. I'm kind of just naturally kind of getting in the zone.
But you do 3 workouts basically before the game. Once in the morning with me, shoot around.
Yeah. But I try to take it a little bit light.
He tries.
Yeah.
What's your greatest basketball achievement so far, and why?
My greatest basketball achievement's got to be the win last year. I mean, it's the highest level I've played, and we put in so much time. Really, it was accumulation of 3 years of practices and workouts and early mornings and games and losses, disappointments, and all that stuff. And we finally broke through, and there's no feeling like it. It was awesome. 100%. So definitely, Skyline Champions 2025.
We'll get more to that. Growing up, which NBA player did you idolize?
It's a good question. When I was younger, I would say, like, when I was in my middle school, high school, I really liked Kristaps Porzingis when he was on the Knicks for some reason. I don't know, I just liked him. He's kind of cool. But I would say since then, just a big LeBron guy. Big LeBron, and nowadays, Jokic.
There. Why Jokic?
Because he's just so good, and like I think I just love watching him play. Literally dominating guys, getting to his spots. Just orchestrating everything.
And you would never think that.
It's just I just love watching him play.
Who do you model your game after today?
Who do I model my game after? No one. I would say really so much. Like I've gotten like Mike Conley a little bit. Some people have told me, he's another lefty, little jet point guard. So I'd say a little bit, I guess it's more of a comp, not a model my game after. But I try to take some things from different guards, like obviously Steph a little bit, and other top guards. I like actually a guard, Xavier Simpson. He's not many people know about him. Played at Michigan, and now does played in the G League a little bit, now plays overseas, but he's a small guard, does a lot of those like hook shots and wide finishes I like to do. So that's the guy that I would watch a lot.
Well, what was the last NBA game that you went to?
Last NBA game I went to? That's a tough question.
I feel like you're not a big sports, you love it. But
I love watching. I don't need to go to games as much. I mean, I last college basketball game I went to, we went to one last year, and I've definitely been to. Yeah, that's probably the last college basketball game I went to. But last NBA game that I can remember, I went to the Knicks playoff game. This is probably 2020. 2021 or 2022 against the Hawks when Trae Young hit that left floater to beat them and all that. I've definitely been to a game since then, but that's the most memorable one. I'll say the most memorable one.
All right, take it. What's the greatest shot of your basketball life and why?
Greatest shot is actually, so we were talking about my senior year before of high school. So there was no Yeshiva League championship again because of COVID. We did lose, but nobody won, so it doesn't really matter. But there's a big tournament. So there's no sack check either. But so I guess the biggest tournament was the Globalman tournament in at Shalhevet, and we went to that tournament early in the year. We started off, I think we lost our first game on a buzzer beater against a team that we were better than.
I remember this game.
Yeah, and then we beat another team. We didn't play well. We beat them, and then we crawled our way into the knockout stages. And we ended up going on a good run, and we made the championship against the host team, Shalhevet. Again, they're probably big favorites. And
you guys were down by a lot.
Yeah, so we came out, and we played all right. We kind of hung with them, and they kind of took a lead towards the end of the first half, and we kind of just kept chipping away in the third. And I don't remember the exact numbers, but we're kind of about to get over the hump. Maybe we're down 15 or so. We're up 1. There's under a minute left, and we run offense, and the ball gets knocked out of bounds with probably 10 seconds on the shot clock. And we do an inbounds play. It gets broken up, and I kind of just get it on the right wing, take one dribble, and take a really high lefty floater from deep, elbow extended, deep lefty floater, and it just goes right in. And then we're up 3 with under a minute left, and it kind of really sealed that victory, and we ended up winning that tournament. So I think that's probably the biggest stakes, biggest shot, probably. Yeah,
it's awesome. What's either your favorite, coolest, or most embarrassing sports story about you as a kid growing up till now?
Is it my playing, or is it
Could be anything?
Right.
Could be you walking to a game and you fell.
Yeah, no, I guess I can go with one of my favorite sports stories. Again, this is super random. It just came to my head. It's about me as being a fan. Even though nowadays I wouldn't say I care so much, but as a kid, everyone loves sports. My family's from Washington. My dad's from Washington D.C., so we're big Commanders fans. I was 2012 or 2012. So I was 13 years old or 12 years old, whatever it was. And I ended up, long story short, ended up meeting RG3, who is this Robert Griffin III. He was this massive first round pick for them. And me and my brothers, we waited outside this hotel, and we ended up meeting him, and it was so cool because we loved him. So that's a cool random story, but it was fun as a fandom.
It's not bad right off the cuff.
Yeah. No, I would really say that was probably the most time I was excited as seeing a player as a fan.
Right. For sure. Cool. So now I know you're a huge college sports fan. What do you say your favorite basketball, football, and baseball team? So football. I know. I know you watch college football a lot. You watch college basketball a lot. You don't watch baseball that much.
Nah. So being from the Northeast, there's not much. It's not like you're living in Alabama or in the South where college football is a religion. I would say more just really like to watch. Whoever it is. Obviously the power conferences for football, and even for basketball, I like watching mid majors, low major. I like watching everything. For basketball, I would consider myself a couple fans. I would say one is the Houston Cougars. Again, I wouldn't say I'm a real fan. I just, anytime they're on, I really like to watch them. I love Coach Sampson and, what he does. And I'll follow them on social media and seeing their workouts and, just what they go through. And I think I work hard. You should see these workouts these guys do. These guys basketball? Do. Yeah. He kills them. He literally kills them.
Wow.
So I just really respect what they do. And, that's why they've been one of the best programs the last 10 years or so. Another one I like is Auburn. I've been going down there the past couple of summers to work their camps, and I've got to know their staff. And
you could say your airport story, golf cart.
I got to know their staff, and yeah, so I like to follow them. They're really great staff there at Auburn, and a lot of great guys. So them, and then a little bit more local guys. I root a little bit for Rutgers, root a little bit for FDU. It's right in our backyard. on the low major stuff. So I'd say those are kind of the teams that I like to watch.
And football?
Football, I wouldn't really say I have a team.
Just watch everything.
Yeah, I just football I'm not as into as college basketball. But yeah, I wouldn't really say I have a team.
Okay.
I should get one though.
Then I know NFL, it's the Commanders.
Yes.
And basketball?
Basketball, it's the Knicks. Yep, it's the Knicks.
All right. Do you learn more from watching college or NBA?
So it's definitely like everyone's like, oh, college, 100%. I think there's a lot you could take from both, but I'll go with college. But again, I think as as an individual player, you can take a lot from both. Again, obviously you gotta look at the right things, and some things obviously you won't be able to do. You're not 6'9" and have a 40-inch vertical, but there's things you can take from both, I think.
Right. So I obviously spoke about the championship game when I was on here last. Maybe walk us through it a little bit. Championship game. We're excited for the game. Go down. Same moment as the year before. And I guess the emotions throughout the last 10, 15 minutes, and obviously like your oblique popped out.
Yeah.
Somehow you had the back in the game.
Yeah. So again, we obviously went in there extreme confidence. We expected to win. We expected to win. So obviously in the first half things didn't go so well, and I got some rib injury and I wasn't feeling great, but so I actually wasn't totally. I missed some of the halftime stuff in the locker room because I was getting treatment. But I was kind of thinking to myself we're gonna gut this out. We're gonna work. We're gonna do what we do. We're gonna work our hardest. We're gonna try our best. And what happens kind of happens. And I think a big thing was we were being in those positions a little bit before. Like we've been kind of good at coming back a little bit. Like sometimes we get those slow starts for whatever reason it is, but we kind of get some slow starts, and I kind of as the game comes on, we kind of turn it up a little bit, and I knew we definitely had a chance to do that. And then kind of I sat at the start of the half and kind of was able to come back in and just kind of be as a threat. Even though I couldn't maybe not do everything I would like to do, but I was able, just being out there, was able to be a threat, guy that they're watching, is on their scout and all that, and then you kind of just made some big time shots. Like that's what we talked about before. Big time players make big shots, and you trusted obviously the work and everything that you've done, and you made some big time shots and got us back in that game, and then you hit the last one, and it was crazy, and then we hit that last shot, but then we still had to go down there and get a stop, and we did a couple rotations, and we got a good contest, and ended with an amazing rebound by Orr, and then kind of the rest of history. So it was it's hard to it's just kind of when you're in it, you just kind of move, like it's not time to think and all that. So I guess that's kind of what happened.
Beautiful. What would you say your reaction was when I stopped in the locker room and I told everyone about the money for BTC, and then an hour later in the restaurant?
It was just like, I was just so happy, we won, and obviously BTC played a huge role in our season. Like it helped us, it helped us come together. We never had that much team time without BTC. So I was just like, it was crazy that I got all that money, and I was so happy that we'd be having it again for this year.
Yeah, like I said many times, I believe that shot that went in at the end and the whole win, regardless, was because of this. I don't know if we would have lost, we would not have got for BTC this much money.
Right.
So it's definitely cool.
It's awesome.
What would you tell your younger self, whether basketball or non-basketball? I wouldn't say change anything really, because I'm sure you're happy with where you're at now, but just a piece of advice.
Yeah, I mean, I think it kind of goes together. I definitely, when I was younger, I would definitely didn't have all the, some of these traits that I think I've improved at. So I would definitely say don't get caught up in little things. Don't, everything's gonna work out. Trust the work. All those things that I think I live by now. I would just kind of, that's what I would like to tell them. Things that I used to, I guess, forget a little bit about. There's such small things. Not everything's going to go, as a little kid, it's hard to obviously do that, but, life's hard, not everything's going to go your way. And it's kind of how you deal with that. And that's kind of how you get stronger and learn from it. So that's kind
Beautiful.
of what I would tell them.
What would you tell a kid who wants to play college or wants to get better at basketball or sports in general, wants to do anything in life, and he just struggles to get out of bed, and he struggles to put himself through a schedule, and struggles to like get himself together. What piece of advice would you give him?
Yeah, I mean, look, if it's something that you love, like again, for me, it might come easier, but for you, like something that you love, like you should love to go out there and do that. And something that I would tell him is like, like it's not, again, as I was saying a little bit to my younger self, like it's not always going to be easy. Like there's going to be days where, yeah, it's like, oh, this is brutal. My hip hurts, my leg hurts. But like, a big thing I think is not only does, working out and getting an extra time, getting an extra work in the gym and whatever it is, get you better. But one of my old coaches told me, like, as like what I said before, the work you put in gives you your confidence. So like by you, knowing that I make, 100 shots every day and I do my curls and my drifts, like I'm confident that I can go make that shot in a game. So like, if you want to, be great at something, like you really got to put in time. Like that's everything, to me. I believe that it's just everything. You got to, obviously things you can't control, but part you can control, you have to go 100% at it. So that's kind of what I would tell them.
All right, beautiful. Actually, to pull this up, one second, I saw this quote. It says, "Don't wait until you're confident to show up. Show up until you're confident." That like you want to, a lot of people are always like, oh, how do I gain confidence in life and how do I get better and how do I, it's not about that. Like people always ask me like, oh, my child or my friend is, or I'm struggling with confidence. Like, what would you do? And I'm just like, the more you practice, the more confident you're going to be. Just get in the gym and practice.
100%. It's like, that game-winning shot, you knew you could make that because you're taking that shot every single day. So to some people, it might be crazy, but to you, it's like, I've taken that shot a million times. Like, Zevi taking that shot is like person B taking a regular catch and shoot.
Right.
So it's because you have the confidence because you rep those out and do that, put that work in.
100%. What are your long-term goals after college and once you're done here at YU? Scary, it's last year.
Yeah, it's crazy. As I said a little bit before, I'm trying to, stay in the game, whether that's maybe playing a little bit or kind of getting right into coaching. I'm hoping to, get into college coaching. So that's why I said I've been working, doing some extra coaching stuff I can with my free time, and then the summers working for different like basketball organizations and AU circuits and stuff like that to build connections, as you would do for any industry. I'm hoping to get a job at a college and kind of work my way up from there.
Beautiful. What's one thing that fans don't know about you that they should?
I think that I guess I said it a little bit before, like, I guess by the way that I play, I'm like super like active and passionate and energetic and all that. But like, honestly, I consider myself pretty calm and chill and like, off the court, like I'm never going to, raise up and go crazy. Like I just kind of, do my business and go to the next thing. And so I feel like, I'm intense, but pretty calm and cool, I think.
Right. I think it's so cool about like this podcast. Like everyone just sees us play basketball.
Yeah.
And they're just like, oh, I imagine Max this way. And I was like, you get a whole new world. All right. What are 3 things in your time in YU that you've learned Rabbi Samet here? Shout out Rabbi Samet.
Yeah, it's a top year. Okay. So they're not gonna be so Torah related, but all right. We'll start with number 1, ball knowledge. Rabbi Samet is elite ball knowledge. You can ask him who's the first pick in the 1989 NBA draft, and he would name you that pick, what college you went to, and then we can go to 2, 3, 4, and literally he'll get like all of them. So taking that knowledge, we'll do immaculate grids or hoop grids or that stuff, and definitely improve my ball knowledge on specifically NBA, but all sports trivia throughout my time. Number 2, all right. So this might sound a little crazy, but let me explain it first. All right, Rav Samet always preaches, if you want to be, a great Jew or anyone, follows STDs. STDs stand for Shabbos, T, well, that's the S. The T is tefillin, and the D is dietary restrictions. So, and he'll say, if you keep the STDs, you keep Shabbos, you put on your tefillin every day, and you keep kosher, dietary restrictions, you're you get as much schar as Rosh Yeshiva. He might learn a little bit more Torah, but you're as equal to him. So that's, I would say the quote of our shir. You follow the STDs, Shabbos, tefillin, dietary laws, you're as holy as the Rosh Hashiva.
Love
That's
that.
what he says.
Love that.
And number 3, a little bit on the more serious note, you know, like Rav Samet shears, I would say it's like, I wouldn't even call it shear. It's more like a family. You know, we kind of just go in there every day, and, you know, people are on their different schedules, you know, popping in for this amount of time, but we all, you know, we bond with Rav and we bond with each other. And, you know, some of my best friends, obviously from my time at YU, come from that shear. So it's awesome.
Beautiful. Maybe walk us through some of the eating challenges. How does it
Yeah,
work?
I mean, Rav's a great guy, interesting guy, but he loves seeing people eat. So, you know, he'll be like, you get.
Is it because he's on a diet? What's the reason?
He likes to say it. He's not. He just enjoys watching people eat. So, you know, there'll be guys that'll come in and like 40 minutes late, and they'll be like, all right, if you want to be marked on time, go get egg and cheese and like three donuts, and you're good. And they'll walk in, walk right back out, come back in with their food, and he just enjoys watching people eat. I don't know why.
What was the craziest eating challenge you've seen? And did he get it or not?
One guy tried to do. He failed. He was a beast. Like he would eat a pie like it was, you know, a bag of chips. But he tried to do 3 lafas from Golan in like 40 minutes. I mean, that's too crazy. I mean, lafas are like, you know, this big, packed with, you know, meat and all this stuff. So yeah, I think got like 1.5. Probably could have gotten 2, but he realized he's not doing it, so he kind of tapped out.
That's crazy. What do you say like your favorite quote is?
Yeah, so my favorite quote, I guess it's not really a quote. I mean, it is a quote, and I'd say I first heard it from my coach at Bryant, and it's kind of more a motto, but it's, you know, 12-7-4. You want to be successful, you got to follow 12-7-4. So what is 12-7-4? It's, you know, with basketball, it's you want to be a pro, you got to work out 12 months a year, 7 days a week, 4 hours a day. That's how you become a pro. And you know, it's not necessarily working out. If it's, you know, you're sore that day, do an hour of, you know, recovery. That counts. That's getting you better. That's, you know, it's, you know, you need to watch some film, whatever that is. You know, it's helping a teammate through one of our play. You know, it's not necessarily, you know, I'm lifting or doing tween crosses for 4 hours. It's, you know, doing something to, you know, improve either your basketball, team basketball. So 12 months a year, 7 days a week, 4 hours a day. And for basketball, that's the timing. But, you know, it could be for anything in life. You know, if you want to be great at something, you got to put in, you know, day in and day out. So I think that's
beautiful. I remember I spoke to Oz once, called him Coach Oz, and I was like, Coach, I'm hurt right now, but like I think I could get a workout in.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. I was like, I think like, listen, like I'm hurt, but I think that I'll be okay tomorrow. And he's like, no, you're not. He says, when you get to realize that part of your growth is your resting, that's when you'll be an elite player. It's like if you think that you have to work out every single day, and when you're hurt, keep pushing yourself, you're not going to be good. He said, recognize on the days that you're hurt, do something else. Do whatever you can. Rest is just as important. And it's like really cool. Like even the Rambam, a big rabbi, you know, explains very beautifully. He says, when a person goes to sleep and he thinks about, I told like the team this many times, person goes to sleep right before he goes to sleep. He says, Hashem, I'm going to sleep in order to recharge my body, in order to serve you better tomorrow. Every second of those 7 hours is a mitzvah, no less than someone who's learning Torah. So when a person realizes like sleep and rest is just as important in your process and in your growth, then you'll be okay when you're not healthy every day and you're able to do whatever you can.
And yeah, it's also things like, you know, like taking care of your body, whether it's, you know, it might be annoying. It's like, I want to just chill. But, you know, part of that could be, you know, stretching, and like that stuff's annoying, and people might, myself included, don't really necessarily look at it as working out, but, you know, I'd be a better player if I took that stuff more seriously.
Right.
So.
Right. I guess we'll finish off, and then maybe you could ask some questions to me. Is there any other stories or lessons that you want to give to anybody, or shout outs?
I don't know. I feel like giving over most of my lessons about, you know.
Also, putting someone on a sponsor to just give lessons is really hard.
It's a tough question. But I mean, I think I've kind of, you know, given over my lessons and kind of said, you know, what I have to say, and, you know, shout outs. We already gave a shout out to Rabbi Samet. So, I mean,
I saw him right before
really?
I came up. Rabbi Samet, I'm going to do a podcast with Max. He goes, "You the best."
You're the man. Yeah, I mean, I want to give a shout out to my parents and my friends and you know, our team. You know, this wouldn't be possible without our team. And I guess we didn't really touch on it, but, you know, this is obviously the 7, 8 of us who came in 4 years ago, 3 years ago. This will be our 4th year, and you know, we've accomplished a little bit, but, you know, we don't think we've even scratched the surface. So we're you really looking forward to this year and big things coming. And I guess that kind of transitions to one of my questions I would want to ask you is like, kind of you're asking me about this, same thing to you. Like, this is obviously our last year playing and you're going to go on to be a great pro and all that. But, I guess not really a question, more of like, touch on this comment. Like, what are your thoughts on this? This being obviously your last year in college and, being a pro is different than college. It's, you're not going to probably have the same bond as you've had with us. And, kind of what's your thoughts on that?
100%. I think, a lot of people are like, oh, I'm going to go play pro. So, like, it's okay if they just go, half speed this year and just like, I'll give it my best, but like, it's not it for me. So it's very easy. Like everyone always says, like, you appreciate a lot of things once you lose it. A lot of people be like, when it's your last opportunity, you appreciate it more than when a person has another opportunity. But I think like I realized like there's something about being in YU, something about being with these guys and playing basketball here is, yeah, maybe I might go play pro in Israel, but it's not the same. It's like right now, the exposure that we get by winning helps everybody in the world, all the Jews, see what we do beyond the court. And for me, that's something I value tremendously. So I know the power of winning. I know the power of how much work I put in, and it stinks to lose. It doesn't matter how many years I have left. It doesn't matter how many games I have left. I worked so hard my whole life to win. So if I walked away this year and was just like, I gave it my all and it didn't really, and now I'm like, I'm going to play ball. It's a lot harder to win at the higher level, the next level. It's like we built something tremendously with the guys. I love winning. I understand the power of winning. And I just like love the guys. Like I get to speak to everyone here all day. When I leave here, everybody on our team is going to get a job somewhere else, going to go do something else in life. And like, I might be in Israel, you might be here, someone's going to be in a different country. We're not going to see each other as much. We know how that works. Like during the summer, most guys don't speak that much just because everyone has different things. But I think like to really realize like, yeah, I might have something afterwards, but like this is my last year to have this experience in my life. Like I'm never going to have this again, both on the court, off the court, and it's something I'm not going to take for granted.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. It's gonna be a good year. Hopefully,
we just got to dominate. We get healthy.
I know. Yeah, we'll be all right. Another question. I guess is kind of square, but what's your favorite Shabbos food?
Has to be my father's cholent.
All right, let's say you're away. So you're on the road game. Like I'm saying, what's something that you can kind of count on? Like, oh, I'm going to this, this guy's house. Never been there before. Like, what's something like? All right, at least I'm gonna get this.
That's a good question. That's a good question. I guess to play it safe, probably like a good salad.
Yeah, actually, I know you're a big salad guy. Yeah, you're a big salad guy.
Do some salad with some turkey.
Nah, that's a good point. You can always count on it. There can be someone that's great at salads, but it's never gonna be bad.
You don't know if someone's gonna have like apple pie or sweet potato pie, or you could always count on salad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, I mean that's my question I got for you.
Appreciate it, Maxwell.
Great, awesome time. Season 2, baby.